Hi everyone, this is Hiba from Wiser Humans, and I want to talk about regret. So regret is an emotion that we often experience when we're going through a difficult time. And it sounds a little bit like, why did you do that? You know you shouldn't have done that. Why didn't you try harder? You should have done that differently. You shouldn't have treated that person that way. You're so weak. Why did you do that? And it just sort of keeps going around and around in our head, and we can get really stuck in regret. So those are the kind of thoughts that show up with regret, and the emotions that show up with regret are often sadness and anger, and that can lead to this sort of self-blame that will often show up and just keep us stuck in the cycle of ongoing blame and regret. So why does regret actually show up? What I want to suggest is that everything that we do, every emotion that we have, every thought that we think, there's actually a good reason that it shows up. And regret also can have a good reason for showing up. And probably one of those reasons could be that it's a signal that something about the situation really matters to you. Because if you think about it, if you didn't care about the situation, about the relationship, whatever it is that you're having regrets about, if it didn't matter to you in some way, you wouldn't be feeling regret. So regret in that sense is not your enemy. It's not something that's just out to torture you. It's showing up for a reason. And often regret will have a message in it that can be very helpful for us moving forward. But we need to know how to work with it, because otherwise we'll just stay stuck and keep going around and around in this cycle of self-blame. So one of the messages that regret might have is that we need to make amends, that we did something that wasn't cool, that wasn't right, that wasn't in line with our values and who we want to be as a person. And so regret might be showing up as a way to tell us, yeah, you need to apologize to someone, or you need to repair the situation in some way. You need to do something differently. And if we can't do something about what happened, it can give us information about the kind of person that we want to be moving forward. For example, if you have a lot of regrets about a relationship ending, you can use that regret to give you information about the kind of person that you want to be moving forward in your next relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go back to the old relationship and repair that, because it might be beyond repair, or it might not be aligned with your values anymore. So it's really important to use that message and to think, okay, well, what does this tell me about who I want to be moving forward, and to try to use that as information. The second kind of information that regret can give you is that it's about mourning. It's about fully mourning a situation that is over, has not worked, someone that you've lost, something that you've lost, maybe a job. So it can be something that there's nothing to do anymore. There's nothing you can do to go back, nothing that you can do to repair what happened. And so regret can be showing up as a way to tell you that it's time to mourn, it's time to let go. It's time to allow yourself to feel, the really deep sadness that you need to feel in order to move forward, in order to move on with your life. But you can't do that if you're just stuck in regret. You have to allow that regret to tell you that, okay, now it's time to fully mourn, because regret is a way of actually not fully mourning something. It's a way of staying stuck, and maybe even serves as a way of protecting us from the sadness that we need to go through to fully mourn something. But we can't move forward if we don't fully mourn whatever it is that's been lost. So it's a really important signal, if that's what you need to do, that it's time to allow yourself this time for grieving, no matter how difficult that is. And I know that it's not something that any of us enjoy doing, and yet it is a necessary step in order to be able to move forward in life. And the third thing that regret can tell us is, maybe we did something that we aren't proud of. Maybe we didn't prepare the way we wanted to for a situation, and now it's too late. Or maybe we failed at something and we know that we didn't do our best. And in this case, yes, we can learn about how we can do better moving forward, but often there's not much we can do except forgive ourselves. because staying in this situation where you're just beating yourself up and going over and over again, what you could have done differently is probably not working for you, and it's probably not helping anyone, least of all yourself. And so how can you forgive yourself? How can you allow yourself to be imperfect, to be human, to realize that maybe you did your best at the time with the knowledge that you had in that situation, and to realize that you did the best that you could, and you wouldn't make the same choices today because you have different information, but at the time you did do your best, and it's okay. And now you need to forgive yourself in order to be able to move forward and to not stay stuck in regret anymore. So those are 3 ways to look at regret in a way that's a little bit more constructive than just staying stuck in that cycle of regret and self-blame and going over and over again what happened and how horrible you are and what you should have done differently. So really asking yourself, can I make amends? And then doing them if you can. Do I need to forgive myself? Or do I need to fully mourn the situation because there's nothing else that I can do anymore? So I hope that this helps. I know that regret's not a fun thing to be going through, and I know it's not easy. But if we can try to see it as more of a signal and not something to fight, not your enemy, not something to try to push away or to just distract yourself from, and instead try to leverage it to gain self-awareness, to become a wiser human in some way, and to do better next time, then I think that it can really play a very constructive role in all of our lives.